and Cavalier with the invite.
Hey. Oh, welcome back. Oops, I unmuted right there.
Oh yes.
Okay.
It's about time we had a crappy start. I love it.
Well, third game tonight. Trying to get people into these games here, and all right, let me make sure things are going on.
You've had your intro for so many weeks. I think this is the first flub start we've had in 3 months.
Something like that.
Oh, that's awesome! I love it.
Yeah, we need to. Sorry, I'm trying to get these two teams started off here.
So tonight we have.
Okay,
excuse me.
let me start this over. Chair League Season 3, Week 7, 6. We have for you guys tonight another placement match between ManaTapThat and Shade Without Color with a U. It's color.
Color.
No,
we got British color. So this is gonna be a revolutionary match here. So real quick about these teams, ManaTapThat. Right now, it looks like it's their first game in Chair League. So welcome. Nice to have you. And Shade Without Color actually 2-0 in their placement matches. The results of this match will determine where they end up, where they get seeded in Chair League proper. So best of luck to them. They're looking to get that third win and potentially make it all the way up into Div 1 right out of the gate. Yeah, this could be good, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we just had to retool this lobby here because things were a little bit miscommunicated there. So that was me just being a little disoriented. So sorry about that. But yeah, we're gonna get started here on Sky Temple.
We gotta cut you off, son. You are done. That is enough alcohol for you tonight.
No. Well, I am almost out of this one here. But
So how are we doing on maps? Do we have an idea on maps here tonight?
Yes.
Do we have a?
Yeah, the map is Sky Temple. Old classic, very old map. I think launch map, I believe.
I think so. Yeah. So definitely a launch map. That I can say without any sort of. There we go. So let's talk about Sky Temple. It's been a very, very long time since we had a game on Sky Temple.
Yeah.
God, I can't even tell you the last game we've casted on Sky Temple. Everyone seems to pick Infernal Shrines.
Yeah, Sky Temple is still a very good, very fun map to cast and talk about. I mean, the objective points are. Everyone has almost lost their touch in terms of the timings, so it should be fun to see if people can master the timings again. I haven't seen this map in a while, to be completely honest with you. Have you played it?
The map rotations that have happened with the Machines of War event have changed things up considerably. What maps you get each week is that's a thing. And for whatever reason, it just hasn't been popular in Chair League of late. When Braxis first came out, that first week, everybody picked Braxis. We only did Braxis Holdout that whole first week it came out. And then everyone realized it's Braxis Holdout. And they never went back to it again. Yes. I don't think we've done one map on Warhead Junction, have we?
I don't believe so. You're absolutely correct. I don't think we've at
least in Chair League.
Yeah. We have not casted one, I don't believe, on Braxis Holdout, which is really quite interesting. I would have thought that somebody would have, or not Braxis Holdout, Warhead Junction. What did I say? I don't know what's going on.
I do that too, so it happens. But
okay.
It's a volatile map. I mean, people don't like it. I mean, they like knowable maps where the math has been done, the timings have been figured out, the optimal way to play the map has been sort of figured out, and that's what we've got here with Sky Temple. I mean, there's a pretty well sort of thought out way of playing this map. If you haven't had a chance, there's numerous sort of map guides that I can think of right now. Dreadnought has a good one. McIntyre has a good one. There's a lot out there if you go looking for it. But a lot of this, the objective is not channeled. So, long range poke for interrupts is a little less critical than it is on a map like Towers of Doom or, Tomb of the Spider Queen. But, that being said, a global hero is still really, really handy on a map of this size. It's a big map. It's one of the largest maps in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think a good solid bottom laner is a critical part of this map. Mm-hmm. Having the distance between the lanes is pretty broad, so it's not as gank intensive, if you don't mind. I'm trying to think of the right term for it, but it's not like Tomb of the Spider Queen where the lanes are smack dab right next to each other.
One of the main things about this is you have to hold the objective. Sorry, I'm just trying to clear up some miscommunication going on the game here.
Sure.
But, you have to hold that objective point, and you have to hold it the entirety, along with things beating on your on whoever's holding it.
Yep.
This actually allows for you need two people basically to clear the objective points typically.
Yeah, I agree. It's very hard. ManaTapThat is our home team, so they are going to be the first pick and the first ban. Don't get your hopes up there. It was agreed upon before the match that Murky is the stand-in for Zarya. Mm-hmm. So Zarya is actually our first ban here today. Shade Without Color, they, as the away team, got the chance to pick the map, and they opt to ban the Falstad.
Falstad, a great favorite on this map.
He's unreal on this map.
Oh god, he's so good. No, he actually has the ability to basically solo one of these objective points. It's very like some of the squishier heroes actually cannot solo this.
All right, so Malfurion picked up by ManaTapThat. I mean, this hero, people love this hero now, dude. It's so weird seeing the bottom of the figurative barrel of supports now being a first pick hero.
Yeah,
I'll never get used to this. It's gonna take me a long time.
So we were joking in the chat about if somebody wanted Murky, what would you do? And I said, well, pick TLV to represent Murky.
So we see Vala and Brightwing picked up by Shade Without Color, so they do have access to a global hero early in the game here. Mm-hmm. And Sergeant Hammer picked up by ManaTapThat. I like Hammer on this map if you have the foresight to get to the early locations quickly enough. Once those first two temple phases go by, things start opening up. The temples start to randomize. You have less opportunity to get to the location on time, and we see Rexxar picked up as well. This is great on this map. Mm-hmm. I really like Rexxar on this map. You have an opportunity to hold the temple with Misha and, zone and interdict with Rexxar himself and the rest of your team.
I believe Fan made the stage shout out in glee when he played Rexxar on. Mm-hmm. I believe it was Dragonshire. Same deal where you hold an objective for a certain amount of time, or in order to capitalize on the objective, you have to hold and maintain it. And Rexxar really excelling at that sort of thing. Misha counting as a second body, actually Misha being the tank and Rexxar being the second body. But that's arguable.
Li Ming is banned by Shade Without Color. Kind of surprising, honestly. They don't want Li Ming in their composition.
Well, more interesting in that they banned it where ManaTapThat doesn't really have a composition that supports Li Ming. Although Li Ming being very powerful in all respects, her power coming from the resets rather than anything else, and Chen banned out. That is
I
very smart.
I can 100% support that ban.
Sergeant
Chen with
Hammer.
barrel can make make it a nightmare for Hammer. Yeah.
Hammer loses her escape. I mean, even with Malfurion, Malfurion against Hammer would have been dangerous, and given that Malfurion was picked up by the same team as Hammer, I guess that's not a big deal. But
well, I mean, it's just like with Chen, you can get into the back line. You know, those auto attacks, you've got so much HP to grind through. Those auto attacks are not going to cut it unless the engagement, draws out substantially. And Chen can displace that Hammer, and displacing Hammer is the way you beat her. It really is. Putting her in your team, physically in your team, is how you beat her. Yeah. Zagara is picked up by Shade Without Color, likely to be the bot lane, solo laner, and Muradin is picked up as well. I really feel like Shade Without Color needs, I'm worried about this Hammer. This Hammer pick throws a wrench in things that I think Shade is not really respecting.
Yeah, you need to actually hard engage in order to get rid of Hammer. You cannot
really do.
Can't let Hammer sit around and do her thing. She's dangerous. That's how she wins games. She sits in the back line, sits in the smoke, and beats on the team without them noticing. And
one more damage dealer for ManaTapThat. They go with 2 tanks, Rexar and Johanna.
Oh, I love that.
2 warrior composition for the front line. You got to have somebody. I feel like you're missing some burst. Chromie would be okay here. I could see Chromie being an effective pick. Or another long-range burst damage dealer would be the most ideal to me in this situation.
I think, Chromie's a good choice. They already got rid of Falstad, Vala, Li Ming. So Jaina, Lunara is a good pick too. Yeah, Lunara's probably against Brightwing.
Yeah, there's the Lunara.
Against Brightwing, it's but it's not that bad. I mean, it's Brightwing does negate her poison a little bit, but at the same time, she puts out a lot of damage.
And with Lunara, you can slow any advances on the siege tank.
Yes.
So we see Alarak as the final pick for Shade Without Color. Alarak could be interesting. So Alarak does have a hard engage at level 10 with the Deadly Charge, which is the more popular of the ults right now. And that lets him bypass Johanna, bypass Rexar completely.
Go straight for the hammer.
Go right for that hammer.
Yeah. So, we should see how this goes. Brightwing also does have the ability to follow up with a poly on the hammer, but that is a lot of hard engage onto one hero, and the rest of the team could focus that one hero who dives, but they don't have a lot of burst.
Well, if Malfurion chooses to go Twilight Dream, he can negate a lot of that damage when Alarak goes in. If Malfurion is glued to Sergeant Hammer, like side by side, right there, and sees that Alarak go in, immediately pop that Twilight Dream, Alarak has nothing. Alarak has a 3-second interval where he has nothing. No attacks, no movement, nothing.
Yeah.
And, Hammer and Lunara can go to town on somebody in 3 seconds.
That's absolutely correct. It's going to be up to Zagara to maw whoever gets caught.
I think you got to. I think you do. I think you do take maw as Zagara here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
it's a big, huge map. Yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
Nidus is really good on maps where you have to do a lot of lane changes. You don't really have to do a lot of lane changes on this particular map. There's enough time on whenever the objectives are announced for them to rotate into the right place.
I feel like this is a great Nidus map. I feel like this is a phenomenal Nidus map. It's huge, so ganks are less likely to happen. They're hard to coordinate. Driving your whole team across the map to try and kill Zagara. I feel like this is a really good Nidus map. The problem is, I feel like the 2 melee tanks potentially of ManaTapThat. The 2 tanks of ManaTapThat, that's a lot of incentive to dump those tanks into a maw, isolate them, get onto that backline quickly before those tanks come out, and secure a kill quickly before those tanks can start, can start peeling for their team. I feel like that value might outweigh the global value of Zagara in this situation.
Yeah, I do like Zagara taking Mon in this situation, just overall, mainly because there's only 2 damage dealers on the side of ManaTapThat. I mean, if you take out one of them, you're having
they're
the
really
damage.
hindered. Yeah, they're really hindered in terms of damage.
And especially if you take out his hammer, Lunara's damage takes a while to take effect.
And with Brightwing, as long as if you're getting pinged by Lunara, that Brightwing should be able to help you as long as you stay close.
Yep.
Let's get to the introductions. In the left corner here, wearing them blue trunks, we've got Team ManaTapThat. We've got Wafflecopter on Rexar, Super Boss Guy on Sergeant Hammer, Whales on Johanna, Diamond Neil on Lunara, and Locky on Malfurion. In the right-hand side, in the red trunks, we got Team Shade Without Color. We've got Jupiter on Zagara, Lee By Now on Muradin, Duck Thompson on Brightwing. We've got Blue Abyss on Zavala and Alan Arf on Alarak. And esports has begun in the mid lane.
And
they
poor
are
Misha
laying into each other, and it is Lunara who is the first casualty of this game.
No, Misha is the first casualty.
Oh no!
No, but Lunara does get Alarak in. That Alarak displacement just doing a number on her positioning, and she doesn't have an instant escape, so she has to just hop away, and with the majority of the other the team in that middle part, she was just blown up fairly, frankly.
Doing that esports in the mid lane, as we like to say. So we've got Johanna versus Zagara in the bot lane, which is about as unfavorable a matchup as you can possibly put yourself in for the Johanna. Whereas the top lane, I could say the exact opposite. We have Rexar versus Brightwing, which is a nightmare for Brightwing. So both teams looking to get some aggression in their respective lanes. Top lane for ManaTapThat and bot lane for Shade Without Color. Who, according to the chat, it was supposed to be a Harambe joke, but their captain didn't like it, so they vetoed it.
So they went British. So, Sight picked up from Alarak there. Good call on that. They waited for the Sergeant Hammer to go try to gank Brightwing, and Brightwing with her global presence is going to just wait it out, basically. It looks like they're going to trade objectives, and that's probably the best bet on the first round here.
Jupiter getting whacked by Whales in the bot lane here. There's no need for Zagara to take this sort of damage. She should win the fight in this lane easily, and instead is taking a heap of damage there. Yeah, you have to, I feel like it's pretty much agreed upon. You have to have that vision in the middle if you want to take that vision, or take that middle temple. It's so dangerous. There's so much potential. But Shade Without Color pushing north here. They want to go aggro here, get a couple shots from the north side temple. Alan Arf and Lee By Now pushing hard into the top here. But they are going to be deterred by Siege Tank and Wafflecopper. Super Boss Guy pushing them away with that Siege Tank range.
Yeah, Siege Tank is doing a great job of just sustaining in these fights. He almost got caught by the combo of Alarak, Poly by Brightwing, and then but there was no follow-up from the Vala. Had the Vala been there, the Super Boss Guy would have been in a heap of trouble. And right now, just using that floaty bits. Using a Z to engage and then disengage there.
Zagara is brought down. I'm really surprised by that. She usually dominates these early laning phases here. I think she was brought down in the bot lane by Whales. Gonna take a quick peek at the talents here. We're seeing Hunter Gatherer as the quest talent picked up by Rexar. That's really standard for him. No surprise there. Reinforced from the Johanna. I love it versus the Vala and the Zagara. That's going to save her a lot of damage. And versatile, interestingly enough, taken by the Malfurion on ManaTapThat. I'm curious what hero they intend to give that mana to and really benefit the mana on.
I mean, Lunara and Sergeant Hammer both are very mana hungry. And I don't think Lunara
is mana hungry at all. I think she's primarily an auto attack hero, man.
Well, if she goes towards, and looks like she's going.
Well, a big pull from Alan Art takes a heap of damage, but Super Boss Guy is hurt. Has got to hustle out. Levi now wants the blood of that siege tank. Jumps in, but is deterred by Lockie and Diamond Neil, and is subsequently picked up. Blue Abyss as well. It's a disaster for Shade Without Color. They thought they had the edge. They thought they had the pick, but the tables were turned. And ManaTapThat is you know, they are laying into this mid lane here.
Yeah, they lose the fort walls there as a response. Rotations are going down now. Super Boss Guy doing a great job on starting or leading the charge on these rotations. Just solidly being aware of where the rest of the team is going to be going.
Look at this. I love this. Duck Thompson in the top lane getting as much work as possible done there before porting down. Expect them to port down shortly here. Whales going in deep. Wants that Vala Blue Abyss taking a heap of damage. The Brightwing has got to hurry quick to this bot lane to support the team because it's starting to get out of control here. Levi now taking too much damage, has got to run away as the members of Shade Without Color absolutely bruised here, but the turnaround from Blue Abyss cleans up Lunara. He smoked them like a bad cigar as the members of Shade Without Color assert their presence onto the map.
Yeah, Lockie is down taking the objective. I don't know if that's the right choice there. The Malfurion, you know, not being in range of all the rest of his team to heal. So perhaps giving a Shade Without Color the advantage on that particular fight and actually losing the last few shots of the bottom objective there.
Well, I mean, Shade Without Color hits level 10, but ManaTapThat is going to be right behind them. Devouring Maw was picked up by Zagara. Like we said, trying to isolate these frontline warriors and let Shade's divers get into that backline, get into that underbelly of ManaTapThat.
Yeah, and Deadly Charge is picked up from Alarak, definitely pinpointed for the
Blink heal as well. This lets Brightwing even dive in with people that need it. I really like this from Shade Without Color.
However, Twilight Dream is picked up by Malfurion, so Malfurion is going to go with the cleanse. He's not taking any healing counts.
Nope. This is aggro. This is Swag Furion coming out from but
Dead
the
Furion.
Dead Furion is correct. The swag is dead. As two members fall in the bottom here. Super Boss Guy and Whales have got to be careful here. Levi now looking to grab a pick as Duck Thompson hustles south here.
Yeah,
but you're not going to kill Johanna.
No, not with. And Brightwing coming in really saves Alan Arf's life there. You know, the globalness of Brightwing is something that you often forget when you're fighting a team with Brightwing. You know, if Brightwing's not in the fight, you go, oh, this is a 2v3. We should engage. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oops. So.
Yeah. Oh, it's a 1v1 and they're almost dead. We got the. Oh nope, we don't.
Maw is down right now, so there is no defensive Maw. And
Alan Arf is picked off there as Levi now leaps in. Doc Thompson has a blink, has a teleport, so they are able to get away. The aggression from ManaTapThat ends with just the Alarak kill. But it's 5 kills to 6. We're pretty close in terms of kills, pretty close in terms of XP. But, top fort absolutely shredded by Lunara. And, the forts and structures of ManaTapThat are still in reasonably good shape. That mid fort's likely going to go down under the fire of this temple.
Yep.
Peek at the talents again here. Serrated Spines. I actually think that's a really smart pick from the Zagara, because you do get, you get basic attack damage per hero hit, and Misha counts as a hero. If Vexar gets lazy with the Misha control, Zagara can really rack up the damage on that Misha. Now we got to see how much they actually put in on that talent. How they're doing here. 71 damage. They got an extra 20 damage out of it. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah. And they're finishing up the bottom objective right now, or Johanna is. One thing I do want to note is Zagara's creep is getting cleaned up fairly consistently. That is something, like, notice how, she just dropped 2 creep tumors and one's already gone.
Big pick on Siege Tank. Absolutely obliterated. Oh my God. It's like, it was bingo night for Shade Without Color, and they got everything they needed, but the tables have turned, and they're calling out a new number, and Misha is brought down, and the members of Shade Without Color, they are really hurt right now as the Maw finishes. Both teams bruised and bloodied, losing 1 member each, and that is going to be it for that team fight. That was a calculated gank against the Siege Tank. That was a party bush and a half.
That could have gone either way, honestly. Great Q coming out of Brightwing to clear the Wisp there. And yeah, Brightwing does have to be a little bit careful here because she doesn't have the support of the fort walls, and she's in a little bit of a precarious situation right now with Rexar flanking for or at least trying to flank her.
Misha got tired there. Misha was like, no, I'm not chasing.
Oh, and they're actually going to get that fort here.
They absolutely are.
Yeah. So, but in mid here, meanwhile, they picked up, they being Shade Without Color, picked up the Merc camp, and it looks like Johanna is going to rotate down to take care of that. And a bit of a fight going on in mid site here.
Yeah, big poly on Diamond Neil does manage to hustle out with less than 200 hit points. I mean, we're even on kills, we're even on XP, but Shade Without Color with no forts left at all. That is going to actually be a problem as this game goes on. Not having those retreat paths, not having those forts for backup, not having those wells to tap at. That actually makes a big difference as these fights, go on. And the next temple shots, ManaTapThat, they're going to be doing damage to keep structures.
Yeah.
Shade Without Color, they're going to be doing damage to forts.
Yeah. On this map, your forts and keeps and your structures really, they are the HP of your team. And holy crap, this is a throw pit going on here. It's a little bit of baited, and they do disengage right here, giving it actually direct.
They're flanking. They flank all of Shade Without Color, getting huge engage onto Abyss.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Brought down. It's unreal. That was some
next level meta there.
Sun Tzu shit.
Oh, and a 5-man.
Oh,
4-man. Sorry.
4-man Mosh catches everyone except Whale. Alarak goes in. Diamond Neil very hurt. Malfurion has to pop Ice Block, but is killed. Misha with like 10 hit points manages to run away, but dies as well. That's gonna be one more pelt for Leo DiCaprio and the Revenant. But Alan Arf grabbing Siege Tank with 200 hit points, and that is it. We are done here.
What was that? 2 for 1?
That was 2 for 1 with a 4-man mosh, or not mosh, 4-man maw. Excuse me. We've got a siege camp pushing bottom for ManaTapThat. It's gonna get some wonderful damage.
And Brewster's camps take down the fort wall on the top, or keep wall on top lane there. But they do get the objective. Shade Without Color does get the objective at top lane, and that is a single objective on their side. They are gonna catch back up here in terms of structures.
Yeah, this match is slowly swinging towards Shade Without Color. They're starting to open up the kill differential. They've got about a level worth of XP above their opponents, and they've evened up the structures. They've got all the structures in the top lane except for the keep down, and they have all of their own structures, all of them, in their pocket. Both teams a little bit worried about boss actually. Alan Arf camped out, being a sneaky Protoss in the bushes.
But yeah, Jupiter realizes that she can just drop a creep tumor for sight and drops it and moves on. So it looks like they're going to try to support the siege camp a little bit. No, they're not. They're just positioning for this boss here. They're really trying to like bait it out. But Wales, they are none the wiser that Wales is in the bush there too, seeing everything that's happening here, and so they are not to be trifled with. It's a little bit of a chess game going on here. But no, Duck Thompson getting caught up.
oh, that's huge.
That's a bit of a
That's
misplay
huge.
there.
I mean, that's huge. They've got a Bruiser Camp pushing top that's going to grind all the way down towards the keep. I mean, ManaTapThat has got to be thinking about boss right now. They've got to get rid of the creep, and once they do, they can open up on this boss. It's a 4v5. Brightwing's going to be down for another 35 seconds. And with Siege Tank interdicting, which I never thought I'd actually say,
Yeah.
Levi now actually crushing the Siege Tank. That's why I never say that, because the Siege Tank is absolutely evaporated on the front line there. Wales grabs Jupiter and manages to root her with the Malfurion, but the Devouring Maw...
Twilight Dream. Oh my god.
Everything is happening right now. Literally everything is happening. Tons of damage. People are doing all sorts of things. 2 members down, 4 ManaTapThat. That's actually a big kill for Shade Without Color, and they end up securing the boss. Everything went out in ManaTap's favor until they all dead.
They were winning.
There we go.
Until,
We're done.
They were winning until they all died.
They grab the boss. That Siege Tank on the right-hand side in that bush. Such a questionable decision. I really... Like, while I was saying it, like, Siege Tank zoning for their team, as those words were, like, coming out of my mouth. Yeah, Siege Tank is interdicting. Like,
Wait.
like the absurdity of that statement dawned upon me as I said it. Yeah.
Yes.
So with Siege Tank catching that Stormbolt, that was it for that fight. You know, as we mentioned earlier in the cast, Lunara being the only other major source of damage for ManaTapThat. I mean, they get the kills. You know, Shade Without Color gets the boss, and now it's 2 keeps down. They're looking to get the last of these temple shots onto that middle keep. And, you know, what was an even match before that throw pit has turned out overwhelmingly in favor of Shade Without Color now.
Yeah, this is actually... don't let that... the levels fool you, though. This game has been fairly even on both sides. I mean, the engagements are left with, like, 1 or 2 members on each side alive. Like, it's not like you're doing a 5v1 or like 5 for 1 or something like that. It's always been very close. So, and that's really impressive coming out of a 2 tank comp. I mean, 2 tanks meaning 2 assassins. That's relatively low damage on the side of the 2 tank comp, and on the other side you have Zagara, Vala, and Alarak. So yeah, that's a lot. And you know what's interesting is 16 there was no vulnerability picked up for Brightwing. What do you think about that?
I'm actually really surprised. They took Shield Dust, which is ability damage reduction at 13, and Bouncy Dust at 16. There basically is no ability damage on ManaTapThat.
Well,
I guess
no. The ult for Sergeant Hammer, I guess, is the.
I guess you know the poison damage from Lunara is, I believe, brought down. I think that is considered ability damage. I might be mistaken, but that's the only thing I can really think of that would benefit from it. Siege Tank is not ability damage. Rexar does no damage.
Yeah, and Rexar is dead now.
Speaking of Rexar, you know, he does no damage, but he certainly receives it, as Rexar is brought down very early in this team fight, barely getting the Boar ult off in time.
Yeah, this is game-ending potential here. If they lose another member, which they just lost their healer, this is dangerous. Yeah,
it's super dangerous. This game could be over right now. Alarak going in very hard. You know, the members of Shade Without Color can actually, they can get the keep, and then they can turn right around and grab a temple. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they choose to do. A 3v5 is possible to defend, but Siege Tank with 30 hit points! Siege Tank had 30 hit points there.
Yeah, no, they are out of keeps. This is where you just turn around and grab the objectives.
No, a 3v2 you can absolutely win. You right-click the core and you call it a night.
Yeah, you know what? This is actually probably better. Because even if you lose 1 member here, you can still turn back. So.
And with Lunara falling, that seals the deal.
Yeah.
Shade Without Color securing their 3rd win of their placement matches. Very nicely done by the members of Shade Without Color.
Absolutely. Whew. Wow. That was
back and forth.
That was very much back and forth.
That really, I mean, everyone jokingly refers to it as a throw pit, but That was the throw pit, partner.
Oh yeah. The interesting thing was they were baiting. They turned around. They turned up and over, and they weren't actually seriously considering to throw. Considering to take it. But they had done so much damage on the boss that at the time that Shade Without Color came in for the invade, they were basically committed. And that's the problem with throw pit, the boss in that map is. To commit to that boss, you really have to be sure of yourself, and they basically left the point at that moment.
And that's a situation where pre-leashing the boss is actually it's a high-level technique, but it's something that more people need to be aware of. So the boss, you can leash it 3 times before its health regenerates rapidly. So anytime you're going to take the boss in a high intensity situation where you might be interrupted, where the enemy team might find you, what you want to do, you want to start doing that damage, and then you want to pull your team away. The boss will leash, it'll run back to its home position, starting position, and then you re-engage on it again very quickly. You do that twice. The third time you leash the boss, when it returns to its home position, it immediately starts regenerating its health very, very, very rapidly. Like 2 or 3 seconds, it can go from 0 to 100. And what that means is, if you're ever in a situation where the boss might be contested, you pre-leash it with those 2 charges of leash. And then that third time, when the enemy team invades, you bail. You bail, and you force them to deal with a full health boss.
Yeah, or if they decide to commit on it, then the boss has their full attention, and you can just turn around and do what you want with them.
A boss is dangerous. It's scary. It's huge. We don't blame you. It's a big, terrifying thing. But if you have 5 members of a team focusing down a boss, it may get, a tower in the gate. It may get the 2 towers and tickle the keep. But it's not going to win the game by itself. So sometimes, giving the boss up is a valid strategy. And, it's way better. Giving the boss up and having 5 people to fight it is much better than contesting the boss and only having 2 people left to fight it.
Yeah, it's very true. 5 members of the team at the level that they were at, 5 members of the team could probably do more damage than the boss. And actually push faster. So if you wanted to really do a base race or something like that, you could definitely opt for to let them take the boss, and you can just wipe them. If you can manage that, that's actually preferable. So it's an interesting dynamic, especially on Sky Temple. Sky Temple being the infamous source of the term throw pit. Yeah,
the OG throw pit.
The OG throw pit, yeah. Interesting things out of the talons here. Twilight Dream was picked up, did turn the fights a little bit in their favor, but I don't know that it was perhaps the best pick in this situation. There was a lot of damage on the opposing team's comp there. You kind of needed some way to sort of restore it,
I feel like taking heal talents and Twilight Dream would have benefited Malfurion better.
Yeah.
So Shando Clarity at 1 and Versatile at 4. I really don't think there was anyone on ManaTapThat that has substantial mana consumption issues. There's no mana consumption issues on ManaTapThat.
There really wasn't.
There really isn't.
Yeah, so no first aid from Sergeant Hammer. Rexar had Hunter Gatherer for his self-sustain, but and Laws of Hope for Johanna. But other than that, the two assassins just didn't have any way to self-sustain, and taking Greater Spell Shield at 13 for Lunara, that it's okay, but it's not really that effective against Zagara, Muradin, Vala, Alarak. Like,
I mean, it works against the Alarak.
yeah, it works
I'll
against
give
the Alarak.
It works against the Alarak.
Maybe she was a little, a little scared from that initial engagement at level 1. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Splinter and Spear is okay. They did group a lot, and that was effective. They did get the Noxious Blossoms radius increase as well to try to take advantage of more grouping. You know, what do you think could have been a little bit different other than the Malfurion?
I don't like Lunara.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't like Lunara. I think if you go 2 tanks, you need an opener and you need a closer in your damage. And Lunara and Sergeant Hammer both sort of fulfill the role of like closer. Sergeant Hammer has lots of consistent sustained damage. He focuses one target. Lunara, consistent sustained damage. I feel like you needed a real solid bursty damage dealer to freak somebody out, because as it stood, Brightwing was able to heal up people consistently. You needed a big heaping source of damage to focus one individual down, and Lunara and Sergeant Hammer just weren't able to do that.
Yeah,
I would have liked to have seen a dedicated spellcaster in place of the Lunara hero, or if you had to keep Lunara, swap out the Sergeant Hammer and put a burst damage there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe Jaina would have been better in this situation since Falstad was banned out. Leeming was banned out. Jaina would have been okay, I guess. Kael'thas maybe as well. Chromie, like you said in the beginning, I think, right? Did you say Chromie?
I think I said Chromie was pretty good on this map because you can see sort of what's going on.
Yeah.
If somebody's capping an objective, you have a pretty good chance of throwing a skill shot through that objective and hitting somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyways.
So, great games coming out of both teams. Honestly, they were very close up until the very end. And props to both teams for playing extremely well. A couple of misplays in Brightwing getting caught out at the bottom there. But overall, just great play coming out of both teams, and and a lot of fun. Thanks guys for showing up and giving us a great game.
Yeah, no, we love doing this stuff.
Oh yeah.
So kudos to ManaTapThat. Welcome to Chair League. We'll be keeping an eye on you and be trying to cast some of your games in the future. And Shade Without Color, very well done. Yeah. 3-0 throughout your placement matches. Congratulations. Again, whatever division you end up placed in, we'll be keeping an eye on you as well, and you might be seeing a request from us to cast some of your matches.
Yep, absolutely. So thanks everyone for joining us tonight. We did 3 games in a row. I'm kind of tired.
I'm exhausted.
I don't know how these pro casters do like an entire day's worth of casting. That's just, it's nuts. Although I'm doing like observing and casting at the same time, so it's But anyway, thanks for everyone for joining us. You can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/synthparadox. You can follow me on Twitter, same thing, synthparadox. I'm on YouTube as well. And on the Chair League site, don't forget to follow the teams you enjoy watching, and also the casters. So with that, anything else you'd like to add, New Type?
I'm out of booze.
Oh.
I gotta open up a new bottle of hooch. So cheers.
Cheers, y'all.